What if I told you that one of the world's most powerful armies was defeated not by bigger guns, not by more soldiers, but by ordinary people carrying secret messages? During the American Revolution, Britain's army had thousands of trained soldiers, powerful generals, and the world's strongest navy. Yet somehow, they kept marching into empty fields, missing enemy movements, and making disastrous decisions. Why? Because an invisible spy network was watching their every move. This wasn't luck. It was one of the greatest intelligence operations in military history, and it helped change the future of America forever. The year was 1778. The American Revolution had entered a dangerous stage. General George Washington faced a serious problem. His Continental Army was exhausted, poorly supplied, and greatly outnumbered by British forces. Every mistake could mean the end of the revolution. The British believed victory was only a matter of time. Their officers marched confidently through New York, convinced that the rebels were weak, disorganized, and incapable of challenging the British Empire. But they were making one fatal mistake. They assumed nobody was watching them. Hidden in plain sight, an invisible network of merchants, farmers, tavern owners, fishermen, stable workers, and ordinary citizens had become America's secret eyes and ears. Every British movement was carefully observed. Every supply convoy was counted. Every ship entering New York harbor was recorded. Every important conversation was remembered. The information traveled through invisible channels that British officers never suspected. Some messages were hidden inside ordinary letters. Others were written with invisible ink. Some were sewn into clothing. Others were carried by riders traveling through forests at night. The British searched travelers, questioned civilians, and arrested suspected spies. But the network continued to grow, because the greatest spies were the people nobody noticed. A quiet farmer, a young woman selling food in town, a fisherman crossing the river every morning, a stable boy cleaning horses near British headquarters. To British officers, they looked completely harmless. In reality, they were gathering intelligence that would shape the outcome of the war. George Washington understood something that many commanders ignore. Battles are won long before soldiers enter the battlefield. The side with better information usually wins. Instead of relying on luck, Washington wanted facts. Where were British troops moving? How many cannons did they have? When would they attack? Which roads were heavily guarded? Every answer mattered. To solve this problem, Washington approved one of the most effective intelligence organizations in American history. It became known as the Culper Spy Ring. Operating in complete secrecy, its members used fake names, secret numbers instead of real identities, invisible ink-coded letters, and carefully planned dead drops. Even if one spy was captured, the rest of the network remained protected. British commanders never realized how deeply they had been infiltrated. While they believed their plans were secure, someone was always listening, someone was always watching, and somewhere in the shadows, another secret message was already on its way to General George Washington. George Washington knew that brave soldiers alone could not win this war. He needed information before every battle. In 1778, Major Benjamin Talmadge was given an extraordinary mission. His task was simple but incredibly dangerous. Build a secret intelligence network inside British-controlled New York. Failure meant execution. Talmadge carefully selected people who looked completely ordinary. One of them was Abraham Woodhull, a quiet farmer from Long Island. No one would ever suspect him. By day, he visited New York pretending to sell farm goods. By night, he counted British soldiers, watched supply wagons, listened to conversations, and secretly wrote reports. Another member, Robert Townsend, worked as a merchant and newspaper writer. British officers often spoke freely in front of him. They believed he was loyal to the crown. They had no idea he was secretly collecting some of the empire's most valuable military secrets. Every message had to travel through multiple hands. A courier on horseback carried the reports through lonely forest roads. Another agent hid the papers inside ordinary packages. Finally, a trusted boatman silently crossed the Long Island Sound during the night, avoiding British patrol ships. Every journey could end with capture. Every letter could become a death sentence. To protect themselves, the spies never used real names. Each member had a secret number. George Washington himself was known simply as 711. If a message was intercepted, British officers saw nothing but strange numbers and meaningless sentences. Some letters were even written with invisible ink. The writing appeared only after a special chemical solution was applied. To everyone else, the paper looked completely blank. The British searched homes. They questioned travelers. They opened letters. But the most important messages passed directly through their hands without being discovered. Soon, reports reached Washington almost every week. The spy ring revealed British troop movements, supply shortages, naval plans, and even secret attacks before they happened. Again and again, Washington quietly changed his strategy. He moved his army before the British arrived. He avoided dangerous battles. He protected valuable supplies. The British were becoming increasingly frustrated. It felt as though the Americans always knew their next move. General Henry Clinton became suspicious. Someone, somewhere, was leaking information. British intelligence officers launched investigations across New York. Suspected spies were arrested. Homes were searched. Rewards were offered for information. Subscribe.